This is St. Jude Storied Lives. I'm Joel Alsup. So the conversations in this podcast let you meet people who were patients at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital when they were younger. It's a chance to hear their stories and to get to know them. And when I talk with these folks, I think about identity a lot because it's something I had to think through for myself after I was a patient at St. Jude. Cancer is a thing that happened to us, but it's not who we are, even if the outside world sees us that way. And today I want you to meet Addie, because her search for identity has taken her to some exciting places.
Being in high school and being in such a small town, everyone kind of knew me as, the girl that had been at St. Jude and the girl that had survived. And, that was such a huge part of me. And then when I got to college, it was like the music became a huge part of me. And now I feel like I'm at a place where I've healed a lot and I'm able to merge the two.
So merging those two sides of herself has really helped Addie step into the spotlight, singing in front of tens of thousands of people and performing with some of her musical heroes. And you'll hear more about that in just a few minutes. But like she said, Addie started off in a small town in North Mississippi, right on the Tennessee state line. And it's a place where everybody knows everybody. She says she spent a lot of time riding bikes around the neighborhood with her friends, singing in church, and spending time with her family.
My mom and my dad are my best friends. We have a very close relationship, especially after, our experience at St. Jude. But my mom and I are nothing alike. She's very type A planner, get things done efficiently, time management. I'm a free spirit, write music all the time, creative minded, total opposite of her.
And you mentioned it just a second ago, too. A little bit of music. So has music always been a big part of your life, even from the time you were little?
Oh, for sure. The very first song I ever learned was I Love This Bar by Toby Keith. So I think I found a love for country music pretty young. I learned that one, and She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy.
So was this something that just you picked up on your own, or was this a bigger part of your family's life?
My family loves music. Neither of my parents sing or play any instruments, but I would say on both sides of the family, grandparents and aunts and uncles, everyone's very musically inclined. So I definitely grew up, hearing them in churches and wherever they sang. And every day on the way to school, we would listen to the radio. So I guess that's where it really began.
And I heard, too, maybe the first time you performed in public, I think your mom has talked about this, that you were 3 and there was a specific song you sang. Can you take us to that moment? What was going on? What were you singing?
Apparently I was 3 years old. I don't remember this, but this is one of my mom's favorite stories to tell. We were at a local barbecue joint, and I kept nagging at my parents. So I was like, I want to sing. I want to get on stage with the band and sing. And my parents thought it was cute and funny. Their little redheaded fire pistol girl wanted to get up on stage, and they were like, okay, we'll go ask them. And so I did. I was like, I guess I walked up there and said, let me sing You Are My Sunshine. And I got up and sang it with the band at 3 years old.
Nice.
Never looked back. Nice. Loved the stage ever since.
I couldn't imagine someone saying no to a 3-year-old walking up and asking if they could sing with the band. So I'm glad you're able to do that. So, you had that normal childhood. Then as you got toward high school, this is when St. Jude kind of became part of your life. What were some signs, or was there any way that you felt sort of off whenever you were first, before you came to St. Jude? You thought maybe something's not quite right here.
Oh, sure. There were probably 2 or 3 weeks before my diagnosis that I just had a sore throat and I was exhausted. And I thought, it was pretty normal that I was so fatigued and tired because I was going a million miles an hour in high school. I was a freshman and I was in the spring musical. I was playing tennis. I wanted to be friends with anybody and everybody. So I, did everything I could to, I totally had FOMO, fear of missing out.
Oh, yeah.
And I always have. So it was really weird to have to put my entire life on pause when I was so busy, probably the busiest I've ever been until now.
So walk us through that. You finally, I guess, go to the doctor because of the fatigue that you're having. What happens next? What do the doctors tell you and your family?
Yeah, so I was in and out for a couple weeks, and one Saturday I couldn't even get my head up off of the pillow, and my mom was like, I'm not going back to that doctor. I'm tired of going in and out, and her mom instincts, I guess, were kicking in, and she said, we're going back one more time, and ended up at Le Bonheur here in Memphis that night. To do some more testing and to rule out the scary stuff, quote. Yeah. And they ended up sending me by ambulance right down the road to St. Jude that same night. So overnight, I started chemotherapy and was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, and my whole life changed.
So, before any of this happens, I know you said you were not far from Memphis, but had you heard about St. Jude before? Did you have any idea of what might be going on there?
No, I had never heard of St. Jude. And my parents had heard of St. Jude before because of the commercials. And I think their associations with it, from remembering, at the time, none of us really knew what was going on. And I think they were really scared by what they had already associated with St. Jude. And so we didn't have high hopes coming in. Mm-hmm. And we definitely didn't expect for St. Jude to not charge a bill. Everything about our experience was complete overnight shock.
I'm sure. And, I was only 7 when I was diagnosed. So I don't think I processed the whole thing. I didn't realize kind of the gravity of the situation. How about you? What did you think? What went through your mind when you understood that you had cancer and this was a place that you had to be treated for something that's very rare?
Oh gosh, I was so mad.
Mm-hmm.
I was pissed. Can I say pissed? I was so mad. I think I was angry for a couple weeks, especially starting treatment, until I finally had a moment maybe where I kind of let it sink in and maybe had to cry for a minute, but then I just felt at peace. I was like, no, I'm in the best place I can be with the best possible team, best possible care I could get. And the only way that I'm going to get through this is to decide right here, right now.
That's completely understandable because, describing your life and all of a sudden there's this giant interruption where all those things you were doing go away. But you kind of referred to it there that St. Jude, once you kind of got into the swing of things, you realized it was a special place.
Mm-hmm. Once I realized that, this isn't just some scary, dark, like cave of a place where the worst people go to just wither. It's not like that at all. This place is bursting with energy and hope, and they are the most encouraging people that I've ever met. I mean, it's a hype squad.
It really is. That's a good description.
Yeah.
And talking about that for your treatment for AML, what was that like? How long did you have to stay when you initially got here? How long did that treatment plan last?
Yeah, so AML is acute myeloid leukemia, so everyone's plan is different, but I was at St. Jude for 6 months and did 4 rounds of chemotherapy. I didn't have any radiation, but I was here for 6 months and I didn't get to leave once because of the risk for infection. I was bubble girl, which was totally weird. I mean, I had no idea that night that I came to St. Jude for the first time that would be the last time for 6 months that I would see all my friends or see my family and my brothers and my golden retriever at home. And when it finally sank in, that's what was really sinking in was, oh my gosh, everything is on pause. I mean, they're all still going to keep living without me, but I've got to focus on my health and I've got to get better. And this is all I can focus on right now. Nothing else will matter.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And after that 6 months was up and you kind of could be a little bit more out of isolation, did you still have more treatment that you had to go through, or is it just really 6 months of intensive? So
I actually technically went into remission after the very first round, which was honestly a miracle. That very first week, a St. Jude moment, if we like to call it that. And I did 3 more rounds and stayed in remission, 100% cancer-free the entire time. And I got home on July 28th of 2016, and I actually started my sophomore year of high school 3 days later, on August 1st. Our school is so crazy. They do year-round school.
Good. Welcome back.
Love it.
Go right back to school.
Rolling up in there, bald, skinny, and I'm like, can barely carry my backpack. But I'm like, let's go. I'm back. I'm back, and I get to see everybody, and I get to feel like myself again.
And so you talked about it too. You were a freshman in high school when this happened. So were you able, with St. Jude, did you keep up with your schoolwork while you were at St. Jude?
Yeah, I actually finished out my freshman year at St. Jude. Had a teacher, her name's Mandy, and she became like my best friend. She's amazing. I would go in some days I wouldn't be feeling very good, and she'd be like, well, you have an assignment due, this week or whatever. We can work on it, Addie. And I'd be like, I'm not really feeling it. It was pretty laid back, but I was really thankful to finish on time.
For people who don't know, kind of describe that school program here at St. Jude. I mean, you're getting those same assignments you would be getting back at home, right?
Yeah, actually, our school, they provide us with laptops. So that was a really cool resource for me to have. I could just email all of my teachers back home and communicate with them using the laptop and do all my assignments from here. But, it was weird. I'm like, I don't want to do school.
I understand.
In the middle of treatment. And it's, but I can understand the kids that are there. I'm like, they don't want to be doing treatment either. Like, they definitely don't want to be doing school either. They just want to be outside playing and having a good time. So I'm like, all right, I can get my assignment done. If they can get through treatment, I can get my one assignment done.
So the whole time you're here, you're able to keep up with your peers. Like you talked about, you got back home, like would you say 3 days later, you're back in school. Mm-hmm. What was that like for you, stepping back into school, being back with friends and family for that first time?
It was amazing. I mean, there were weird parts for sure. I mean, going back to high school as a 15-year-old girl with no hair, I didn't really have a lot of self-confidence, of course, and that's something that I think a lot of, teenage girls, I never expected to be a bald teenage girl. But all those things just kind of faded away when I was there, because I remember rolling back into town for the first time. Neighborhood friends and family and people in the community, they'd made orange bows, and they put them on every mailbox in town. People had painted their doors orange. They had painted an entire underpass bridge orange with my mural on it. It was insane. And orange is the color for leukemia awareness. So, I mean, I was just in complete shambles, in tears, driving back into town because I felt so loved and supported. That's exactly how I felt going back to school too. All my friends they didn't miss a beat. They're like, let's get your backpack. Like, you got to come over tonight. You got to come do this. They're like, are you too tired to go out and eat with us? I'm like, no, I'm going. So it was a weird transition back into normalcy, but I felt really loved.
That's awesome. That's so great that you had that support too outside of St. Jude as well. So as you got toward college, what did you think you wanted to do, and what kinds of influences were in your life about thinking about where you wanted to go to school and why you wanted to do what you wanted to do?
Yeah, so I'm a realist, but I've always loved music. And this was kind of the time in my life, I was turning 18, and I was like, I want to do this. I really, really want to do this. I want to write songs every single day, and I want everybody to hear them, and I want to know what they think about them. But I had an opportunity to actually meet someone in the industry that has had a really huge influence on me. His name's Brad Paisley.
Mm-hmm. Heard of him, yeah.
He's a legend. He's amazing. He's actually a really huge supporter for St. Jude. And at the time, I was starting my first year at Ole Miss. I was like, okay, I'll go to Ole Miss and, I'll get my college experience and I'll keep writing songs in the meantime, and I'll get my degree in something that I think is realistic. So marketing is actually what I ended up doing. And I'm about to graduate, hopefully. I'm so close. I'm in my very last semester. But I actually had the opportunity to meet Brad Paisley that first year of college, the night before Greek Day, actually, which is our first day of recruitment for Greek life at Ole Miss. I got back at 4 a.m. that night and walked in, and I saw my roommate, and I was like, I just met the Jonas Brothers. And she's like, that's great, but we have to be up at 8 a.m.
Well, that leads me perfectly to the next question. With all the songwriting and singing that you like to do, how do you balance classes with those opportunities that you've been given? How's that I guess fun life balance that you're going on with there?
Yeah, I don't. I don't balance them well. Yeah, well, so I was able to have the opportunity to be featured on Brad's song Alive Right Now, actually, which was featured. It was debuted on an ABC network special. He titled it The Brad Paisley Thinks He's Special. And that actually completely changed my life. For the entire time I've been in college, people know me as, the girl with the song with Brad Paisley and sings and performs. And so that was kind of cool, that transition from being in high school and being in such a small town. Everyone kind of knew me as, the girl that had been at St. Jude and the girl that had survived. And, that was such a huge part of me. And then when I got to college, it was like the music became a huge part of me too, and my identity. And and now I feel like I'm at a place where I've healed a lot, and I'm able to merge the two. Does that influence the writing of your songs, thinking about everything that you've been through and your experience here at St. Jude? Oh, for sure. I mean, I've got a lot of really, really depressing songs that will never see the light of day. They were just for me. Yeah. And they were for me to heal and for me to process. And songwriting has totally been a form of therapy for me. And not only is it, cathartic writing, but it's also just fun and energizing, like to write rowdy songs that, my friends love to listen to when we're all out together, or I have my girlfriends come over all the time with their boy problems, and then I just turn it all into a song that they can listen to in the car over and over again to get over the guy.
That's awesome. That's a great friend. That's a friend with a great skill to have.
Oh, you'd be surprised how many times I've done that.
That's like the perfect gift.
It's cool. It's like, not only is it an outlet of therapy for me, but it can be for people in my life too. And I'm hoping I can turn it into that for a lot of people.
Thinking outside the songwriting to the performing aspect, obviously performing in front of people when you were 3, what's it like? That's something I've never been brave enough, nor would ever be brave enough to consider doing. What's it like singing in front of people, and does it change if it's a large group or a small group? How does that feel?
Oh, it feels good every time. I get nervous some. It depends on the group, I'd say. For a smaller group of, friends or family, or even just one person, I'm totally going to be so nervous. But for like a large group of thousands of people, I'm just, I'll sing all day long and have no nerves at all. But one of my favorites I've actually done was the Liberty Bowl here in Memphis. Mm-hmm. I've gotten to sing the anthem for them, the national anthem, how many years now? It's been a while, but I'm so thankful that they keep having me back. It's the best feeling ever to walk out on the 50-yard line, mm-hmm. just me and the microphone, 65,000 people, dead silent in the stadium, and then I just start singing the Star Spangled Banner a cappella, and it's, you hear it 4 or 5 times because you hear it in your ear, and then you hear it, going around the stadium, and it literally gives me chills every time I do it. It's so much fun. It's like an adrenaline rush.
That's awesome. I'm thinking back on, your treatment time, obviously freshman in high school when that started, senior in college now. And does that feel like a lifetime ago to you, or does it feel like it's still very much part of your everyday existence?
It kind of feels like both. Mm-hmm. In a way, it feels like it was just yesterday. I think about it every day. I think about St. Jude every day, and I think about the kids that are still here every other minute. Everything I do is, even words people say it triggers it almost, but not in a bad way. It's it triggers the gratitude that I feel, and I'm really thankful to be a part of this still. And I don't think that St. Jude ever really leaves you. Oh, no,
I fully agree, and we're grateful you're still part of this. And what's it like, whether it's a day like today or coming back for checkups maybe in St. Jude Life, what's it like for you to come back onto the St. Jude campus?
It's weird. It's a weird feeling. I feel really thankful when I come back, and I just cry the whole time.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
I've been crying all day today.
I understand completely.
But it's mostly the people here. I know they've saved my life. I know that they're saving other kids' lives, and they are doing such pure and amazing work, and for society. And I just, honestly, there's not a better feeling to me than coming back and just feeling grateful.
And thinking about maybe kids too who are going through treatment right now, what would you want to say to them as a words of encouragement?
The one thing that pushed me through when the days got hard, the hard days that you don't talk about, mm-hmm. that you don't even want to tell your mom you're having because you're like, God, this sucks. I feel awful today, and no one really you don't want to complain about it. Yeah. But because you have so much support. But the one thing that really pushed me through was just chasing those dreams and thinking about what all you can do after, thinking about where you can go, who you can meet, what you can do, the story that you'll have to tell, and just staying focused on what's next, what's to come. Let's keep moving forward. And whether that's a tiny step, sometimes as far as you can look is the next hour. Sometimes as far as you can look is the next week, the next day, especially at St. Jude. And I guess that's what I would say to encourage them, is just keep thinking about what's next.
Beautifully said. And speaking of that, what is next for you? I know
Ooh.
Graduation's coming up, other things. What are the big plans for Addie as she moves forward?
Yeah, my grandma said she has to see me walk at graduation. So that's one reason I'm like, I've got to get through this school stuff. I can do it.
You're almost there.
I'm a smart person, but I'm not a studious person. I'm not great at being disciplined to study. But I'm excited to release some more music and for everybody to hear all these songs I've been writing in the dark alone. I mean, it's what's the joy of writing a song if no one's ever going to hear it?
That is a perfect way to end. Addie, we are so thankful for you. We're so thankful for your voice, and we're so thankful for sharing the message of St. Jude out there and really putting words and thoughts and feeling, whether it's the tough, the beauty, the sad. Thank you for being that voice for us. So thanks for coming in today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Everyone has dreams for their future, for what they hope their lives become. And Addie knows when it seems like your future might be cut short, that those dreams become even more important. And St. Jude started off as a dream, to create a place that would cure the sickest children, a place that would care for you without charging you a cent, no matter your skin color, no matter where you live, no matter what you believe. That dream became a reality more than 6 decades ago, and it's still going strong because of the support of people like you. Give what you can online at stjude.org or click the link in the episode description. This podcast is a production of ALSAC, the fundraising and awareness organization for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's recorded by Jason Latshaw and Andres Garcia. Produced by Geoffrey Redick. Edited by Grace Korzekwa Evans. Music production by Kazimir Boyle. Lewis Graham is the executive producer. I'm Joel Alsup. Thanks for listening, and join us next time.